LEGO City knocked it out of the park with the space sub-theme, and so I had to buy them all to review. When you have them all together, a few things stand out, and to avoid repeating myself in each individual review, I'll cover that right now. Apparently, mankind set out to explore space, finding cute-looking alien lifeforms that come in just two different styles. They live in a world full of rock formations that have tons of these crystals lying around. Mankind developed tech for the sole purpose of mining these crystals and turning them into different sizes of the same type of energy sources that all of their vehicles and small droids use. The vehicle's predominant color scheme is black and white, with details of sand blue colored elements and a brand new shade of orange that sits between regular LEGO red and orange. Despite what the box art of the products makes you believe, all of the glass used is actually that newer transparent dark color and not transparent clear, which I found surprising. The astronauts are split into three different specialities. There's the miners/workers, featuring a light yellow chest piece with cool prints in the front and matching bright yellow helmets, except for the chief miner with a special dark orange one. The scientists have bright green backpack elements with solar panels most of the time, and a matching bright green element that can open with the trans clear visor, with the high-ranking scientist having double the solar power and a dark green helmet. The pilot's highlight color is dark azure, I wanna say, having a special backpack element and dual molded elements with a lower white section. The high-ranking pilot has a dark blue version of the headpiece, while the Grand Admiral of the Space Force has a golden version with a black visor that can open, and is the only minifigure with different clothing when compared to the rest of the crew. Every other minifigure underneath the special element attachments all have the same printed uniforms on the legs and middle torso sections, while the arms are the only differentiating aspect. And with that, I'll start reviewing every single of the 7 sets of the lineup. The Space Construction Mech is self-explanatory. It fits its minifigure in here, protected with this cage-like structure, and for the size looks really cool in my opinion. There's some construction stripes stickers at the feet, great posable lower limbs, while the arms not so much. They do feature printed tiles with a revamped classic space logo that will pop a lot in every other product, as well as the printed battery round tiles. The left arm has a claw to grab the crystals mined out of this small rock formation with the help of the hammer-like right arm. The miner, however, is not alone doing this task, as there's a miner droid included in the box, done with minimal piece usage but to a great looking end result. $11 for 140 pieces, and this much play potential is a great deal, and now that I think of it, I kinda want a few extras of these working around the space base as a team, so there's also army building potential here. So all in all, a very good product. The spaceship and asteroid discovery is the only 4+ product of the theme. It features the only pilot and scientist that don't have the backpack elements, as well as the only version of this 2-piece alien. 4+ sets never have stickers, only prints, and so this one is great in that regard. This computer station build has this great looking wall element that explains my theory of the crystals being turned into power sources, on top of this printed tile for the double battery assembly and a touchscreen printed slope. In here there's also this tool holder for the jackhammer and the metal detector elements. The other assembly is this crane build featuring the same printed slope for controls. It's mounted on a turntable so it can turn and has a few hinges to be able to pick and move one at a time, one of 2 rocks included in this set. Inside you'll find the energy crystals. The highlight, however, is the spaceship, which in the end doesn't look that juniorized to my surprise, though it was built on top of a well-disguised massive LEGO chunky piece. The cockpit has plenty of room for the pilot, who controls the vehicle using yet another printed element. On the top, another of those 2x2 logo tiles, under which lies a crate to transport a single crystal, 1 out of 5 included in the set, in case you're wondering. On these sides, 4 copies of these printed curved slopes with some air intake details of sorts, which help disguise the blocky look of the spacecraft. 4+ LEGO products usually don't follow the best practices when it comes to price per piece ratios, due to having really big elements, which drives production costs up. So on paper, $20 for just 126 pieces feels like a bad deal, but honestly, it's all about the play here, and the different scenarios you can do with the minifigures and alien, 2 structures, the tools to mine the 5 crystals from inside the 2 rocks included, and the spaceship itself, make it a surprisingly worthwhile product to get to young ones. The other $20 product of the theme though, the Interstellar Spaceship, is a better deal as far as the parts per piece ratio goes, and is a lot more pleasing to the eye when compared to the spaceship from the previous set. Nicer shapes, nicer piece usage, and overall far better looking. But before that, this one includes the high-ranking pilot with the dark blue element, and I need to take that off to show you this cool looking constellation tattoo she has on her face. There's this drone or jetpack, depending on you want to look at it, that can be connected to the pilot's backpack element for flying capabilities. But back to the spaceship, the cockpit has plenty of space for the pilot, and again features this printed element we've seen before, same with the air intake slopes over the wings. There's these flaps on the back that you can adjust, maybe to slow down re-entry in the atmosphere when flying from space. Up top, the standard logo tile and power source mounted next to a small roller coaster element in that new orange color, which is cool for detailing, but the best part of all of this is actually the hidden function. In the back you'll see this weird looking propulsor engine that gets an extra boost of power when you push down the energy source, making it transform, which is absolutely brilliant. It plays the story real nice as you're jamming the power source into the engine for extra power, which visually shows as opposed to just some random button. Maybe I'm geeking out too much, but I love it. To reset the function, you'll have to manually push the flaps of the propulsor, which in turn makes the power source go up again. There's still some crazy sets to review, but I can safely say outright this is my favorite. It doesn't pack as much play value as the previous ones. All of the budget was thrown into designing the spaceship, but I'd say it was well worth it. Next up, the Space Explorer Rover and Alien Life. The 2 included in the set apparently come out of holes on the ground as shown in the box. The ground build is quite simple and has nothing much about it besides the energy crystal. The scientist is having a field day recording the aliens and taking pictures with the aid of this small robot, while the pilot with his white binoculars is probably searching for their next research location. And they'll get there with this awesome looking space rover. Right out of the bat, we can't really miss these shock absorber elements, which aren't just for show and do work independently for each of the front wheels. The back wheels are paired up and built on suspended axles for further off-road capabilities, making the rover an extremely fun vehicle to drive around over obstacles. Seems to require a lot more power, having double energy sources mounted over the rear wheels, and has plenty of interior space to fit both minifigures, but also the mini-bot that can exit the rover when we lower the unloading ramp at the back. The build is quite sturdy to handle rough play while keeping a very clean and appealing design, in my eyes. I particularly like the use of the big Technic steering wheel elements as a decorative detail for the wheels. It has a wide range of prices around the world, though we have to factor in the big wheels and shock absorbers to understand the seemingly higher pricing. With that said, I was still happy to pay €30 for it, and despite not being the most impressive wheeled vehicle of the whole range, is definitely my favorite and my second favorite set of the entire wave. The video is super long as it is, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of the City Space set reviews, where I'll cover the last 3 of the lineup: the Command Rover, the Modular Space Station, and the Space Base.